Good evening. Happy Wednesday, everybody. The last Wednesday before Christmas. Can you believe it? How are you handling it? I'm being festive today. I usually be a bit of a Grinch, so I'm getting there. And I just wanted to check in first of all and say hi. How are you all going? How are you handling this silly season? It's we all get so caught up in the hype and the rush. It's a busy time of year, so I hope you're taking a couple of minutes to take a deep breath. So, a little bit of a different topic for you tonight. Earlier this week, I announced on my social media pages that I will be sponsoring the Specialized Women's Racing Team for another year. I think that's my 4th year running. And it's always around that time when I announce that large sponsorship that for the last few years that people that aren't really close to me on a personal level, they often question why I would do that or why I would invest in a cycling team. And it's really interesting because they seem quite curious and why I would make such a business decision. And for me, I questioned why they couldn't understand it. And I thought I'd come on and just have a bit of a chat about why. Because obviously there's business reasons and there's personal reasons, and what really is it all about, where it all comes from. So for those of you who don't know much about cycling, the Specialized Women's Racing Team that I sponsor is a national level road cycling team. And that aside, all of you would know I have a great love of cycling. So obviously there's that passion that I love for it. But from a business point of view, I really just wanted to have a check-in with you about why I would commit financially to something like this, because people often question, the return on investment and is it there? So over the years of developing my business, I've really worked hard to establish values that really mean something to me and that really get me deep inside. And one of my values that I feel really strongly about is gratitude. And gratitude can be anything from people writing a gratitude journal every day, choosing joy, seeing the greater part of life. But for me, being grateful is also kind of putting my money where my mouth is. And when I'm in a position to be able to give back to the things that I'm grateful for. So for me, I'm extremely grateful for the community support that my business has. I'm extremely grateful for the experiences and the life skills that cycling brought me. So for me, being grateful is also about using my business to financially give back and to the community, and that is by sponsoring the cycling team. So it may not be that dollar for dollar I get work in return. It may not be that my level of financial sponsorship in the team is the same amount of financial gain that I return. And when I first went into it, that was not my main objective. It really was that community is important to me, being grateful is important to me. And I strongly feel like if you're a small business out there and you have such a big community support, which you have to get along in this world in small business, then it's really important that you give back. And if you're not in a financial situation where you can do that, it doesn't have to be financial. Go down and help your local cricket club at a sausage drive, anything like that. I really feel it's important to show that you support and are grateful for the community that gives back to you. So there's really that element for me that it was one of my core values to be grateful and to give back to community. But there's also a few other elements. The cycling team is really also about supporting women trying to achieve their goals, creating sporting career paths for them so that they can reach their goals. And again, that's something that's synonymous with me. It's really important for the women that work for me that they have career goals and that they have pathways. If they've got goals in their career, it's important for me that I create those pathways. And so in the cycling community, it's important for me that I can support that financially and help them through that to see those pathways, because there are a lot of roadblocks in cycling careers, a lot of funding issues and things like that. And so, my little part, if that can help in a little way, then that's important to me as well. And also just providing that environment for women to be able to explore those goals to do with sport, because it is such a male dominated industry. It's really nice to see that. And when I decided which cycling team I was going to sponsor a few years back, it actually was quite simple for me. It needed to make sure that it was a team that represented all my values and goals and really had the same beliefs that I did, so that they really gelled well with my personal brand. And so that was really easy with the Specialized team. They believe in community, team, honesty, integrity, which are all the things that I do as well. And also, just back to why I do it, you know what? Sometimes you just got to do something that's bigger than you. Give value to the community in a way that's bigger than you. And that's got a lot to do with it as well. And so I just thought I'd just touch base on that tonight. I didn't want to do anything too heavy when everyone's a bit frazzled because of Christmas, but it is something that I get questioned a lot about this time of year, and people don't really understand because it's not your typical business investment, because people can't see the return on investment. But for me, it's really an emotional one. It's really, from a business point of view, it shows my commitment to women, leadership, career pathways, opportunities, gratitude, and community. So although it may not be a specific return on investment from a financial point of view, it really, supporting the cycling team really gives me that content in all those other ways. Plus, let's be honest, I love it. So it's a hoot. I love hanging out at the races. I get to, have my hand in a little bit in the pie of that world that I used to live in. So of course there's that element as well. Now, gang, I really hope you're looking after yourselves this time of year. Hey, Janelle, thanks for jumping on. And just take a deep breath when you need to, because it's crazy time of year. Everything kind of snowballs into something that it doesn't need to be. So just don't sweat the small stuff. Don't worry if you burn the Christmas dinner or someone's late to lunch. It will all be okay. Now, I'm going to finish with a cheeky confession. Every year I buy myself a Christmas present, and a pretty serious one. Because why? Because you should treat yourself. You work your butt off all year, and it's my turn to treat myself. And my confession is Santa actually arrived for me today. Santa dropped off my delivery at my local bike shop. Thank you, The Full Cycle. And I'm hoping that by tomorrow I will be able to bring home my new pony. So be ready for spam, because my new Christmas present to myself has arrived. That's my confession. So guys, next week I'll be on here and it will be Boxing Day. So Christmas will have already been gone. Can you believe that? All this hype, but it would have come and gone already. So I really want to say thank you for the last however months. It's been a hoot. And next year, well, I'm going a little bit ahead of myself. Next week, the big fat man would have been, we all would have eaten so much food, and it's going to be really some time to think about our next property goals. All right, thanks for jumping on. I'll see you next week after the Santa hopefully is good to you in the meantime.